Hi. Today we are going to talk about why kids don't listen and what parents can do about it. My name is Amy Weber. I am one of the co founders of Speak, Learn, and Play in Brooklyn, New York. I am so happy to be here today with you. Whether you are dealing with a toddler who ignores you completely or a teen who just tunes out everything you say, you are not alone. And there are practical solutions. In the next 10-ish minutes, I'm going to talk about why kids often tune parents out. I'm going to talk about the role of timing and emotional regulation and your tone. I'm going to talk about how to gain your child's attention respectfully. And we're going to wrap it up with how to use natural consequences to stop the need for repeating yourself. So let's dive in. Part one is why kids tune parents out. This is a big question, right? Why do they just not listen? And there are a few common reasons. Reason number one, I would say, and I think this is probably the biggest one, is an overuse of commands. If kids are just hearing constant directions all day long, put that down, hurry up, don't do that. They become numb to them. And we have to think about not just what's happening at home, but what's happening at school also. School is filled with directions and places kids have to go and lots of transitions and lots of, we're going here, we're going there. Now sit down, now stand up, hurry up, or you're going to be late for gym class. And all of that are directions. And kids do start to tune out after a little bit. Another common reason is disconnection. Kids don't listen when they don't feel emotionally connected or heard themselves. And a lot of parents think, oh, well, I listen to my kid. He complains about school, or I listen to him complain about, what we had for dinner today. But I think sometimes we hear the complaining and we don't take the time to really show our kids that we understand how they're feeling. And that's really important. And we're going to talk about that more later. There are also super common distractions, screens, toys, their own inner world is taking center stage. Those are really hard things to compete with, especially when you're offering a direction that is not super exciting. So, those are challenges that you have to get around. Inconsistent follow through. If a child learns that you will repeat yourself 5 times before acting, they will wait for time number 4. They realize that they have lots of time to stretch things out because you're going to continue to ask. And the last one that I will mention is emotional overload. If a child is tired, if they are hungry, or they are upset about something, their brain is in survival or protection mode, and they are not in listening or learning or paying attention mode. And that's really important to notice for your kid. So, next, we are going to talk about your tone and your timing and your emotional regulation. How you say something is just as important as what you say. Your tone matters. A calm, firm, but kind tone is far more effective than yelling or nagging. If your voice becomes background noise, kids are going to tune you out. Your timing is key. You want to give directions when your child is actually available to hear them, not while they're watching a show, not while they're deep in play, not while they're reading their favorite book, not when they seem to be completely spaced out and in their own daydreams. So we really want to pay attention to, is my kid ready to listen to this direction or this request? And regulating your own emotions. If you are triggered, your kid is going to get defensive or overwhelmed. So, really taking a deep breath before you speak, because your calm is going to help regulate your kid's nervous system. And the more regulated you are and the more regulated they are, the more likely they are to listen and to follow your directions. So, how do we do that? How do we gain their attention and do it in a respectful way? So, before speaking, we always want to make sure we actually have the kids' attention. And here are four very simple strategies towards doing that. Number one, connect first. Get down on their level, make eye contact, maybe even touch their shoulder if they're not tactile defensive. And you might say something like, "Hey, I have something important to tell you. Can I have your attention?" I really like the phrase, "Would you be willing? Would you be willing to put that down for 1 minute while I tell you something?" And it gives your child, it empowers them to say, "Not right now," or "yes," or, to kind of take some ownership that this is a two-way street. So the next thing is to be brief and clear. You don't want to launch into a long lecture. You want to use short, clear instructions. You might say something like, "Shoes on, please. It's time to go." I like the rule of thumb of the same number of words as the kid's age. So if you have a 3-year-old, I would really be trying to speak in 3 or 4 word sentences. If you have a 7-year-old, then you can expand it to 6, 7, 8 words, but really trying to keep the direction very, very short and very clear. If you launch into a whole thing about what the plan is for the day, they're going to start tuning you out because it's too much information for them to take in. Offer choices when possible. Kids are more likely to cooperate when they feel a sense of control. "Would you like to clean up now or in 5 minutes with my help?" And so you are involving yourself, which, most kids need support to clean up, and you're giving them a choice. These are the choices that you can live with, and they can make the choice that they can live with too within that framework. I would use the say it once principle. Say it once clearly. If they don't follow through, don't repeat yourself. Instead, you want to take action. Now, for some kids, you might ask them to repeat what they understood the direction to be. It's really interesting. Some kids have a totally different interpretation of what was actually said. So making sure that your child understood what you were saying, but you know, we're going to take action after 1 or 2 requests when you are positive that they have heard you. And that action is something that you are doing yourself, not asking them to do something differently and not punishing them. So instead of, "If you don't get your shoes on, in 2 minutes, then you have no iPad for the next 7 days. You know, if you don't put your shoes on, then I'm going to help you put your shoes on." That would be the kind of action that you're going to take. So, natural consequences versus repeating yourself. When we repeat ourselves over and over and over again, we annoy ourselves and we unintentionally teach kids not to act until we're completely frustrated and irritated with them. So we want to let actions speak for us. Natural consequences are the results that happen without punishment, and they help teach responsibility. If your kid doesn't bring their jacket, they'll be cold. That discomfort teaches better than your yelling and nagging ever will. Uh, If they don't get their shoes on, they're going to be late for school. That's a natural consequence. They might miss something exciting that's happening that day. That's just the consequence. A consequence is literally what happens next without you having to do anything different to make it happen. Logical consequences are, another option that I would say is really good. They are related to the issue at hand, they are respectful, and they are reasonable. If your child refuses to turn off the tablet after a reminder, the consequence might be that they lose tablet time tomorrow, not because you're angry, but because the limit wasn't respected. So there we are pairing a consequence that has to do with the thing, right? So they're on their iPad, they are not getting off of it. And we say, okay, this is the last chance. If you can't turn it off within 1 minute, then you're going to lose iPad time tomorrow. So these are two things that are connected. Putting on shoes and getting out the door in the morning is not connected to iPad time. So that's not a logical consequence. So I want to make that super clear. We're going to say it once. If there's no action, then you're going to follow through. And calm consistency builds trust and accountability for your kids. And that's what kids really need and what they're really looking for. They are looking for the consistency. They are looking for the trust that they can trust you to calmly and reasonably do the thing that you say you're going to do. So let's wrap up with a few key takeaways. What can parents do? Connect before you correct. Use a calm, respectful tone and body language. You want to choose your timing wisely. Give clear, brief instructions, and when possible, give choices that you can live with. And you want to replace repeating with action. Natural and logical consequences are powerful teachers. And most of all, remember that you are modeling how to communicate. Every moment is a chance to show how to be respectful, clear, and calm under pressure. Thank you so much for joining me. If you take one thing away today, let it be this. Kids aren't trying to be difficult. They are trying to communicate. They're trying to explore. They're trying to understand the world. And with the right tools, you can guide them without yelling or repeating yourself endlessly. Thank you so much, and I will look forward to seeing you soon.